All day long, Seattle braced for an unwanted encore.
Reporters become the laughing stock out here.
It started innocently enough with airborne silly string, but escalated to flying flashbang grenades. When protesters arrived downtown,
firing flashbangs.
Clashes with police led to arrests as officers worked to protect businesses.
You're provoking the mob.
And clear the streets. Armed with rocks and other weapons, defiant protesters refused to back down. So the flashbangs multiplied as the tear gas stung more and more eyes, heightening already tender tensions.
I don't like the police. We don't need them.
We are disappointed in the police.
Protesters called it a march against capitalism.
If we learn to be less fragmented and become a community and work together, we don't need police. We can police our own neighborhood.
But if tonight's any indication,
All right, then why don't you do that?
police are not backing down, resulting in a May Day sequence every bit as dramatic as Part 1. In Seattle, Joe Fryer, King 5 News.
From blocks away, you could see it.
This is a pretty bad fire.
And once inside,
It looks like it's in the ceiling.
Seattle's International District on this cold December day,
Yeah, it looks like the bigger fire.
you could almost feel it.
There's so much more smoke now.
Smoke so thick it choked the air and had some choking back tears as they watched the century-old building start to burn.
I need everybody off the block, including the alleyway.
And then realized this piece of the past
They're afraid the building's gonna collapse or something.
could very soon put their neighborhood's future at risk.
It looks empty to me.
A vacant building that's long been deemed structurally unsound,
There's a lot of water going in there.
now getting weaker.
A lot of water.
I mean, we've been here for like 20 minutes and it's been nonstop water.
So much water, firefighters are worried the building could come down at any minute. Although many in the crowd will tell you it's not worth saving.
13 people die inside.
In February of 1983, 13 people were shot and killed here at this very spot during the Wami massacre.
This building, no good. Very bad.
A community haunted by its history for decades, until the cold December day when a building and a bad memory went up in smoke. In the International District, Heather Graff, King 5 News.
Come to Grayland Beach for the ocean.
The minute we got down to on the road here, yeah, the smell's getting pretty bad.
Stay for the beached whale.
Amazing.
Last Monday, a 39-foot gray whale washed up here, likely killed by a ship. Today, the curious came to watch
Absolutely amazing to watch these people.
as the carcass was picked apart.
I don't envy them their work.
So, who would want a stinky, smelly, large 39-foot gray whale? Two people. They operate an aquarium in Westport, and they're two of the most unique people you'll ever meet.
So we do a lot of stupid stuff, so we get interviewed on a regular basis.
There we go. Mark and Catherine Murcell are not scientists.
Whoa, yeah.
The classic.
They have day jobs.
Lovely.
Then spend their other spare time looking for a cabin where miners were killed by Sasquatch.
Oh, is it gross to you?
But their passion is the Westport Aquarium.
We're cutting up a big dead body.
Instead of burying the whale, the Murcells have state permission to save the bones for a whale exhibit, like other aquariums.
I'm not competitive or anything, but they have a whale. I want a whale.
For the last few days, they've been peeling the whale apart, saving the bones, leaving the rest for the birds.
Oh, well, that's just veins and arteries.
They respect the whale and its life. The task now to turn that respect into education. But remember, they're not scientists.
So we get all these people coming in. There's a baby seal on the beach. What do we do? You know, and I don't know.
But they are interesting. And that could just be worth the price of admission. In Grayland, John Langler, King 5 News.
I got $20 bills.
A full block away from where Seattle police were handing out gift cards for guns.
Two numbers on the bottom.
Give me two, I think we're done.
3461472. 200?
You could find the competition.
I pay cash. I don't give Amazon gift cards.
I couldn't figure it out at first. I was thinking, what is this?
The chance to get rid of guns caused gridlock. and private buyers swooped in.
Historical firearm. I'd hate to see it get destroyed. I'll give you $100 cash for it.
Some said they came here because of politics.
I'd rather see it turn back into the gun community used to promote, shooting sports. Cold hard cash.
Others admitted it was for profit.
There's a guy who's got a table set up over there. He's got free donuts.
That right there is a history-making weapon.
There were plenty willing to make the sale right on the sidewalk.
That's an inert round, right?
It's empty.
Yeah, that is a fake. It's nothing but the casing.
That's cool.
Don't get excited.
I'm going to sell to whoever gives me the most money. Wouldn't you?
In a very public place.
Don't touch my camera.
Did I tell you not to take my picture?
These men wanted privacy.
I'm not really interested in being interviewed.
I'm gonna snatch your phone from you.
They were even prepared to get physical.
Hey, leave the lady alone. Hey.
Eager buyers met some reluctance too.
I didn't come down here to sell them to people. Serious, man. Don't play with me, man. We're trying to get them off the street, aren't we?
No, I'm a licensed CPL holder.
Why would this be legal in the first place, buying a gun on the street? This is not a gun show.
Because in the state of Washington, it's legal to do private sales between two private citizens.
That is too bad, and that makes us gun owners look bad when you guys are all on the street.
Here you go, sir. Here's the rights and laws.
Yeah, I know the rights and laws.
For Christy Green,
We've been here for probably about 45 minutes and moved about 10 feet.
it was a long wait,
It's a little discouraging.
but she wanted her gun to go to police.
Is this all you have for me?
However, with a turnout like this, officers ran out of gift cards fast.
You want to get rid of it? I don't care about cash.
If you don't care about the voucher, I'll take it.
Okay.
The event ended early, but private buyers
6, 7. Yeah, there's a handgun in there as well.
stayed open for business.
Sealed weapons permit, showing I'm legal. All right. Here's my ID. All righty.
So I guess this is legal, huh?
It is legal.
Setting the tone in Seattle. Street sax player Tony Mack swears he doesn't swear.
Gosh darn it.
Could it really be that Washingtonians have the cleanest mouths in the country?
No. It's so much nicer than a...
Meet Washington's Miss Manners, executive etiquette coach Arden Kleiss, who says our politeness is founded in our Scandinavian roots.
And it's a more reserved, less demonstrative, less expressive culture, and I think it's really permeated who we are here in Washington State.
So the Scandinavians made us goody-goodies.
It would be 62 years since I came from Norway.
We checked in Ballard, where Hans only swears in Norwegian.
Förbanna svenska.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you know.
It was 99 cents.
But how about Seattle's rise to the top of the record charts with a local rapper who must be bleeped on the radio?
This is awesome.
Back to Miss Manners' take on the swearing study.
Do you think this is bullshit?
I think it's rather silly, really. And occasionally a choice swear word in the right moment is okay.
Our unscientific study shows...
I think it's vulgar.
We may say we're curse-averse, but...
I swear all the time. I mean, you know, it's just adds some spice and color to the dialogue.
Refined or gritty. With a slip of the tongue, it's music. Music even his mother would approve of. In Seattle, Linda Brill, King 5 News.
A rivalry is an interesting thing. Before the score, before the trash talk, comes pride. And wading through a river of purple and green,
I have an IQ of 36.
there was no shortage of that.
That's how much we're gonna win by today, too.
In Red Square, only the scattered vestiges of ESPN's College Game Day remain. But even here, the rivalry lives on.
Who's gonna win? The Ducks!
A college education can never begin too early. For Pippin, it's a life she was born into.
Actually, her first sentence was "Go Ducks." Quack, quack.
There was no quieting these quacks, even though it was duck season.
Out here getting some duck calls in, getting some ducks flying by. Look, they're there, they're flying right now.
Jeffrey Stevens heard a lot from Oregon fans leading up to the game about beating the Huskies 9 straight years.
Up to 10, very impressive.
But he's had about enough of the Duck Dynasty.
It's a big rivalry.
Maybe the best thing about a rivalry is no matter the outcome of this year's game,
Small children, be kind! Be kind to small children. Go Ducks!
the love of hatred between dog and duck
Go Ducks! Go Ducks! Go Ducks!
isn't going anywhere.
Who's gonna win? Huskies! Go Ducks!
Some nights are more beautiful than others.
It's such a special thing. We just come out as quickly as we can.
Out to the balcony. We drop everything and we just run out.
Because it's a real thrill.
It's part of the evening ritual.
Yeah.
The nightly ritual ends with a wave.
There's no describing it.
From Don's deck overlooking Puget Sound.
Absolutely beautiful.
The sun has set.
It's awe-inspiring to me.
The song has ended. The applause continues.
It's this whole kind of, corral of applause.
From this Dash Point neighborhood
We clap and cheer.
It's a real treat for us.
and the nearby dock,
Did you hear that?
the cheers
It's something that everyone connects to.
in appreciation
For those 24 notes that he plays so well.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
24 notes
24 notes. Isn't that something?
that begin every night
Okay, here he comes out.
Sun's going down, you hear that note, first note.
There he goes.
Up, Don's playing.
with this one.
It is beautiful.
If the sun's going down, I look over there, and when the sun starts to go, and it goes very fast, as soon as it starts to go, I play.
It's Don's cue to play the melody we all know.
It is one of the most beautiful songs that we have.
It's a melody played at military funerals. Don Britton plays it from his back porch.
Taps is something that's been played forever. Taps, I think, is awe-inspiring.
For this retired Boeing worker,
I love to do it.
it's what he loves to do, has to do.
Yeah, that gets me choked up.
It's Don's way of saying thanks
My husband and I are deployed in Afghanistan
to the men and women who serve our country.
and wanted to send our personal thanks to you for the remembrance you give to all of the soldiers who have paid the ultimate price.
Absolutely.
That's not much of a sacrifice on my part.
Don never got to serve in the military because he had polio as a kid. So you might say, this evening ritual
It's his way of serving his veterans right here.
You betcha. It's sure not for me.
24 notes
We timed it, and I think it takes a minute.
nightly.
Emotional.
Yeah.
Now come on, can you take a minute out of your day to make things better?
It's the most important minute of our day.
For 1 minute, that's got 150% of my concentration, everything I can give it. It's that important to me.
Something extraordinary happens in this neighborhood for that 1 minute. People stop
And I mean stop.
and reflect
It makes you just feel so proud.
and take a deep breath.
And to just say, here I am.
Some stand at attention.
An amazing and wonderful thing.
Wouldn't you?
Reverent.
We're really blessed to have him right here with the sun.
And when the sun has set and the song has ended,
And this is kind of corny, but it's almost goosebumps.
long after the applause, on those nights when Don knows he's nailed it,
I feel really good. I did it, you know.
But it's very important to us.
Shivers, goose pimples,
Yeah, I got it.
all of those emotions
thankfulness, really deep thankfulness.
from these 24 notes.
Sure, beautiful evening.
John Sharifi, King 5 News.
It's amazing that we're here. Like, I just can't believe it.
Hi. Hi.
Hello. Some days are worthy of a celebration.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This is one of them.
The number 1.
It's the last day standing between Madeline Kuhnlein
This is for nausea.
and the carefree life a 6-year-old girl is supposed to live.
Madeline's been very strong from the get-go.
This is her final dose of chemotherapy and a long battle with leukemia. For 796 days, Madeline missed being a kid. She could only return to class at Mount Erie Elementary in Anacortes once in a while she made memories at Children's Hospital in Seattle.
Her earliest memories are going to be of being poked and feeling sick.
So Mom and Dad thought today was the perfect time
After chemotherapy daily
to start new memories.
for 2 years, 2 months, and 7 days,
They sent out a request.
Madeline is near the end of her battle with cancer.
A request answered.
Right here. Oh.
If you would like to help make the day extra special,
Whoa, that's a lot. Come here.
please mail a card to Madeline and Sophia,
Hold it.
our superheroes.
Oh my. And look at there.
Letters showed up from friends,
I didn't think we'd get so many people.
family,
Oh, look at these guys. Look at this.
even strangers in Anacortes and beyond.
This is all the way from Switzerland.
I'm free of leukemia.
One letter in particular
Look at all these wonderful people.
included a promise from Anacortes Police.
I wrote a note on it that if she ever wanted to ride in a police car, come see us.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
With treatment at its end,
I kind of warned her there was a little surprise today.
officers made good on their promise.
So she's going to get that and a little more.
Congratulations, baby. I love you.
Love you. Bye, Madeline. Bye.
Oh, but that's not all.
Is this a first for everybody?
Yeah.
It turns out a lot of people
Fellow citizens of Anacortes!
were planning for the end of treatment too.
Come here, chocolate face. Your picture's gonna be taken, you know.
Are we ready to celebrate this beautiful young brave lady? Are we ready for a parade?
From the very beginning, from the moment she was diagnosed, our town has been just so supportive.
Let's go!
In an event as colorful as the 4th of July, it felt like the entire town showed up to say,
Thank you.
you did it.
They were there to support us in the beginning, and now they're here to celebrate with us in the end.
Make way for Madeline's parade!
It's going to be great because it just will overpower all those negative memories.
Oh yeah,
Thank you, everybody. We love you so much.
there's just one more thing
Just can't believe it.
left to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Some days are worth a celebration.
Daddy.
Here you go, Madeline.
For Madeline Kuhnlein,
Yay.
the day is one day
So happy now.
she'd rather not forget. In Anacortes, Jake Wittenberg,
It's gone.
King 5 News.
Any right-minded cynic would look at this picture, then struggle to make sense of Neil Bergquist's wish.
The dream was to have a snowball fight.
Without a single flake in sight, you might say that dream doesn't have a snowball's chance in, well, Seattle.
Exactly.
But 50 miles east of Seattle, high atop Snoqualmie Pass, the snowball business is booming. So Bergquist and his buddies found a way to bring the pass to the city.
Do you have a trick to this thing?
With some overnight help from KLB Construction,
And then these two piles.
they move 34 truckloads.
Perfect, perfect.
That's 162,000 pounds of snow to a cozy spot right below the Space Needle.
I mean, I feel like I'm in Montana or something, you know?
Consider it Seattle's very own man-made snow day.
I hope everybody can just kind of forget about the stresses of their everyday life just for a day.
The whole event is a fundraiser for the Boys and Girls Club of King County.
You couldn't ask for a better day.
Companies donate money in exchange for a little space.
I wonder if we could pack 2 of these full.
To build a snow fort.
Way to go, fort builders.
The team from Concur even constructed a slide.
You got to be able to bail.
And that's not all.
Did you catch our toilet? Did you see that?
Strangely enough, that seems to be a theme here.
Yellow snow would probably be appropriate in this area.
This is the fort next door.
The idea is to build a toilet bowl.
That's cool.
All of it is quite entertaining to 8-year-old Reese McDowell. From the sidelines, she spots her favorite fort.
And that one. And the green one.
But the real draw is that dream that sparked it all.
I lost one!
A snowball fight.
No, I'm hoping I go home unblemished.
The goal is to break the Guinness World Record for largest snowball fight.
This is a bad idea!
And with any luck, they won't break anything else. You see, it quickly becomes clear. Snow is sharing this day with ice.
You're gonna hit someone. You gotta get hit too.
As night falls, the official fight begins with a flurry of horizontal snow. Seattle's creative attempt to break Korea's record of 5,387 people.
Final number was 5,834.
Yeah, they did it. And thanks to a little ingenuity, we're no longer snowless in Seattle. With photojournalist
I think I'm gonna have a big bruise tomorrow.
Joe Fryer, King 5 News.
I'm not sure why, but I've been thinking about this a lot these days. Thought about it that morning of the Apple Cup, about those moments in our lives. Maybe you can relate. I know Richard Peterson can.
Does it feel good to have that cash in your hands?
Yes.
It's those moments in your life when you know
I feel exhausted.
it's time.
I just hate the street. I just hate the street. I just hate the street.
Time to stop what you're doing
I just don't want to do the street.
and try something new,
Please support me.
something else.
Please support me.
Anything but what you've been doing
I need to play the piano.
that moment.
Tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired.
When you realize the one thing that gave you so much comfort and joy doesn't give you any anymore.
You know, I'm listening to you play the trumpet. Your heart isn't in it.
No, my heart is not in the trumpet solo. Because that's one note at a time.
One note and then another. Richard Peterson's brain needs more. He needs chords.
He needs to play the piano.
I just wish I get more piano gig.
So Richard Peterson has a choice now. Will he or won't he say goodbye to a part of him? His street performances have become a part of us.
He's a good song. I hope people enjoy seeing my last performance.
This is it?
Yes, this is it. I
After 39 years as a street musician,
started December 7th, 1974. Oh.
Richard Peterson says he is done. Do you believe him when he says that's it?
I believe anything he says.
Richard will be back. I won't.
You will.
I won't.
You will.
Will he or won't he?
You'll be back.
I won't be back.
You'll be back.
I won't be back.
Oh, I know.
It's hard to know with Richard.
6.
Another hug?
Another hug in the elevator.
I've been his buddy 9 years.
All right. You're killing me here.
I'm not killing you. I'm just hugging you.
I've watched this 65-year-old savant
Bass clarinet.
conduct imaginary orchestras. I've seen him open up about his worst fears.
So you're afraid for your life?
Yes.
Afraid what happened to another street musician could happen to him. Tuba Man was kicked and beaten to death 5 years ago on the streets.
Oh, here's someone.
I've listened to his stories about his childhood.
When Richard grew up, his father wouldn't speak to you, right?
Right.
He would not speak to him. And so we think Richard yearned for a male presence in his life.
It's a big ball.
I've witnessed with fascination
And from this ball, you know,
his fascination
he's 50 years old.
with his collection of balls. And apparently, I watched Richard Peterson's last street performance.
No more.
No more.
It's hard to know what Richard's feeling. Hard to know what he's thinking, what's inside his head. There must be buildings in there, short ones and tall ones. The taller, the better.
It's a building. It's a building.
And a head full of numbers, more numbers, and faces, lots of them. Faces of personalities. Johnny Mathis, Jeff Bridges, Pat Cashman.
He's like a library shelf that's getting too full of books.
Filled with melodies and moments and dates.
It's all in his head. I don't know how he does it. He can keep track of how many times he's met everybody.
For me,
16 times in 2004.
2005.
16.
First time you met me?
June 9th, 2004.
And right here on Fifth Avenue in Blanchard, right?
Yes.
A story is a visit.
Each time he sees you, it counts as a story on a building that's in his head.
That building in his head of me is now 121 stories, and it keeps getting taller.
Here's my monthly skyline in the early years. Richard's handwritten Christmas card.
Here, a Christmas card for you.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
You never forget, do you?
I know.
I've got about 13 of these.
TV and radio personality Pat Cashman.
Here's a complete chart of every time we've met.
Yes.
He's thinking of each personality as a building.
Richard's personalities
Hey, happy holidays! He just likes radio and TV personalities.
This might be him.
are the people he chooses to keep track of.
No, that's not it.
Once he decides on a personality, he has to see them.
That Pat? No.
If that's once a week, once a month, once a year.
It's a little family, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not so little. Currently, he's keeping track of 220 personalities. Retired newsman.
He doesn't forget things.
I know.
Brian Johnson's building is just short of 830.
When I retired,
Yes.
Richard said he wanted to see me 7 times before I died.
Yes.
Not he died, I died.
So you don't want to see him anymore.
I don't want to see him 5 more times.
Once they die, the roof goes on the building, and then it's like it's done.
There's a Pat Cashman building, and it is
497 stories.
497 stories.
So you remember the date when you met Jeff Bridges?
Yes. August 25th. August 25th, 1991.
Bridges became a one-story building that day 22 years ago.
Yes.
The movie star was shooting a scene from American Heart on Capitol Hill.
And you went up to him and you said, what?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
But I can tell you this day, Richard Peterson will never forget.
Okay, come on out.
Richard can't get inside fast enough.
I want to get in. I don't want to wait outside.
Jeff Bridges is about to perform at the Moore Theater.
Okay, good.
Yeah. On this day, in this moment, Bridges' building goes from 40 stories to 41.
You're jamming.
Now,
I
have one request.
Yes.
I have one request.
Yes.
You got to give him a building. Huh? Will you? Man.
What, is his name Mike Devine?
No,
my name's
man.
Chris Polonis.
Chris Polonis, man.
Yes.
Will you?
We'll see.
Come on, Rich.
There's no artifice about him. He is who he is.
And who he is the Piano Man.
You're the piano man,
Yes.
after all, right?
Yes.
Richard's version of heaven must be this. Not on the streets, but on a Seattle stage, playing the instrument he loves.
And he kicked it, didn't he? Oh, man.
Was that incredible?
Yes.
Absolutely the
Yes.
best thing ever?
Yes.
Hey, look, you both have the same haircuts, man.
That night on stage was something else. He's since continued on this piano performing path with occasional paying gigs that sustain him.
200.
Yes.
Richard is blessed.
Thank you.
Because he knows what he wants and what he doesn't. Our lives are shaped by the choices we make. Richard Peterson has made His choice.
I should not go back in the street after that.
Yeah, I mean, after that, come on, you can't play the streets.
I know.
We know. John Sharifi, King 5 News.